Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero with another fascinating economic capsule, which as our editorial line has always said since we started back in October of 2019, we want to share with you some of the fascinating aspects of the Puerto Rico economy so that you know and you are more aware of what is happening around you. Well, this economic capsule has been entitled Unfinished Business Part 1, and it really starts from the last certified fiscal plan that the oversight board, better known as PROMESA board, which Congress mandated since June 30 of 2016, and which allows Puerto Rico to go into quote-unquote bankruptcy proceedings for its public debt. What has been spent in terms of what this agenda has been undertaken? What have they achieved? How much has it cost? And really, what do they have to show for? Well, this first table reproduces some of the macroeconomic or metrics that they have presented in their plan. And it starts with, on the left-hand side, GNP in nominal terms from 2010 fiscal year through 2021. And then the columns, even though one is 2010, the next one says 2022, but some of these metrics are 2021. So for GNP in nominal terms, in 2010, we had a gross national product of $64.3 billion. As of 2022, it was $73.6 billion, an increase in nominal terms of 14%. That's not surprising given the inflation that we've had over the past year. Real GNP, that's in terms of in 2021 dollars. Well, in 2010 it was $84 billion, and in 2022, of course, it's $73.6 billion. So it's a reduction of 12% over this period of time. The Economic Activity Index, which consists of about 4 economic indicators, most of them are not nominal, but in terms of physical measures, it was 138.8 in 2010, and in 2022 it went down under 124.2, so that's a negative 10%. Population, back in 2010 we had 3.7 million people in Puerto Rico. As of 2022, we have 3.3 million people. This is the biggest risk that Puerto Rico faces, and that is population trends, a reduction in population of 11% since 2010. But interestingly enough, this, what about by age groups? Well, there's an age group that is growing, even though the population overall is declining, and that's a population 65 years and older. In 2010, we had 547,000 people. As of 2022, we have 740,000 people. That's a 35% increase. Think of that. That opens up a new environment in terms of consumption patterns, in terms of services needed, especially health services, in terms of cost of living, in terms of pensions, in terms of social security, you name it. It's a different society with aging population. Inflation, as of Consumer Price Index, as published by the Department of Labor, and that was the topic of our capsule last week, remember? It was 2.5% for fiscal year 2010. As of 2022, adjusted by what we said, it was 6.1%. And the change was a 3.6% increase in inflation. Non-farm jobs, 932,000 in 2010. As of 2022, we have not yet recovered from pre-COVID levels. It was still below, and to 923,000, that's a negative 1% in terms of jobs. Labor force participation, that is those that are working plus those that are looking for a job or unemployed, divided by that population of 16 years and older, it was 43.5% in 2010. That means that almost 56.5% of that population, 16 years and older, was not even participating in this labor market. Well, as of 2022, not much has changed. It's 43.8%, which means that 52 0.4% of that population, 16 years and older, is not even participating in the labor market. How can this island really change and transform its anemic growth and depressive levels if only less than 45% of its population in working age is participating? Well, that was only an increase of 0.3%. And the total debt, which Promesa has said it was $70 billion in 2010, they've said in 2022, but they indicated that for the central government that when you included that, it would be like $34 billion. We adjusted that to $41 billion because, conveniently enough, Promesa board forgot to mention that as part of the package of that restructuring, that Puerto Rico paid these bondholders $7 billion in cash. So 7 billion plus 34 is a $41 billion. So it really is a restructuring. It's about 42% of that principal debt was restructured. So it's not a despicable amount, but it certainly could be more. Let's look at then tie in last week's economic capsule on inflation, the mystery behind inflation, because the consumer price index is what Promesa board is using to measure Puerto Rico's real GNP growth. That's something that is not done that way. You use deflators, not the consumer price index. But at any rate, let's follow the music as they have established it. And the blue columns that you see there from 2022 through 2032 for the next 10 years. It's the blue bars the blue columns are Promesa's forecast, most recent forecast. And you see there in 2022, last year, it was 2%. For this fiscal year, which ends as of June 30th, it's going to be negative 0.7%. 2024, negative 0.2%. 2025, 0% growth. And thereafter, from 2026 through 2028, marginally, an increase there, positive increase. But soon enough, as of 2029 onwards to 2032, it's negative growth. If, on the other hand, we use the inflation, the adjusted consumer price index, and applied it to the growth, the real GNP growth that the Promesa board adjusted, we adjusted them downwards.